it's Lily here from Shine Bright Diamonds 2023, and I'm coming to you today on Monday, August 17th with another one of my weekly WIP'n chats. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am so happy that you have found my little corner here on YouTube. And of course, those of you that are returning, welcome back. Now, if this is your first time tuning into a WIP'n chat, WIP stands for Work in Progress, and chat is where I chat to you about what's been going on in my world. So feel free to pull out a project and work alongside me, or treat this as a podcast, whatever floats your boat. So let's get into it, because it is currently 9:40 p.m. Typically I'm in bed. However, I am wide awake, and I kind of figured now would be a great time for me to squeeze in some diamond painting before I go to bed. So yeah. All right. Now, before we get into all my updates, because there's been a lot going on, the kit that I will be working on is this one here. It is Legolas, coming from Diamond Art Club, with 59 colors, including 1 AB and 2 fairy dust drills. And this canvas is the canvas I chose to work on for Fan Art Fest 2026, which is happening right now from August 1st to August 31st. So that's the canvas. In terms of my accessories, I'm just using one of my Creation Moran trays, and my pen here is coming from Butterfly Effect Wares. Release papers are coming from Bee's Crafty Corner, and they are super cute because they are essentially little Shih Tzus, sort of similar to the dog that I have. I have a Shih Tzu poodle mix. She is adorable. Okay, so I'm gonna be working on this section here. It's sort of a big one, and I will adjust the camera, so give me one moment. Okay, so hopefully this is better. But yeah, so how are you? What is new? I know in my world it's been really busy, but like an awesome busy. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. I did brew my tea because there is so much going on. I guess we'll just start with, I'm like always trying to like categorize how I want to chat about things. So I sort of have everything separated into categories. It literally goes like Dumpling, my puppy, and then there's like books, TVs, movies, and then crafts. But anyway, so I guess we can start with Dumpling because she's had quite the week. So if you are new here, hi, I'm Lily, and back at the end of June, I welcomed home a little Shih Tzu poodle mix. Her name is Dumpling, and she is currently about 4.5 months old. So yeah. So a little bit about Dumpling is she is tiny. She is coming in at 9 pounds, and she is currently, when I say we, I'm referring to the vet and I, working through her vaccines. Unfortunately, when I got her at 10 weeks, her vaccines were sort of all over the place. So the vet had recommended that her vaccines get spread out, and we are on a vaccine schedule. So this past week, Dumpling got her final set of shots. She got her distemper, parvo, and her rabies. And then after this, she has one more vaccine appointment, and that's to get her lepto, and then she is completely vaccinated. So definitely proud of her. So this past week, she had gone into the vet. They checked her out. She's healthy. Everything's good. She got her shots. However, Dumpling has been dealing with a lot of fear regarding going outside and going on her walks. From like the day I got her, she's always been a very nervous puppy. She's great with me, and like when she's at home, she does her typical puppy things, you know, playing. She wants to play fetch. She like loves trying to steal my socks. She's teething, so you know, she's a land shark. You know, typical puppy stuff. Gets into things that she's not supposed to, learning how the world works. But for whatever reason, we are very afraid of people. So from day one, I had been taking her on like observation walks. So I had bought like a puppy sling because I do live in a downtown core. So I had bought a puppy sling and I was going on walks with her, sitting on park benches so she could observe people and like cars and the transit. So just, to get her used to the things that are around us. And she was starting to show curiosity about, the world, wanting to, trying to jump out of the sling, wanting to go explore. So I talked to the vet about it, and the vet had recommended that I can start taking her on short walks. Obviously, keep her onto pavement only, try and walk her when it's not as busy because I am in a very dog-friendly neighborhood. So all the things. And she was doing really well. And then all of a sudden she decided the outdoors is her greatest enemy and the poor girl would not walk. So we had gone back to sort of me carrying her to a park bench so that she could just sit and observe the world. The vet had recommended, having treats that are only available to her when she is on her walks. So those are treats that she doesn't get in the apartment. They're only for the walks. Make sure they're high value and just take it easy. So I have been taking the vet's advice. We did a lot of, sitting, and all of a sudden on Friday, for whatever reason, her fear seems to have fixed itself because now she wants to walk again. And we will get into what happened on Friday in a moment as to why. Anyway, so part of her vet appointment, they had also mentioned, because she is a very fluffy puppy, she's also my very first dog. So I'm doing my best. I know when I had decided that I wanted to get a dog, I had done a lot of research in terms of the type of dog that would suit my lifestyle, the type of dog that also suits my personality, size of dog, all of that. And originally I was just going to get a little Shih Tzu, but then I saw Dumpling and the Shih Tzu poodle situation happened. And I can definitely say she is not a yuppie dog at all. She rarely barks. Literally, she'll bark at me if I go in the shower, if I'm diamond painting in the morning, and she's like, Mom, I still want to play. When else does she bark? Oh, sometimes she'll bark to let me know if like her toy ended up under the couch. But other than that, like, she really doesn't bark. And of course, when she's tired, she barks because puppy. Anyway, so she's an awesome dog. Now part of it though is her fur is more like a hair. So she's technically supposed to be hypoallergenic or low shedding. And it turns out she's very fluffy. And from day one, the vet had told me, it's good to start introducing her to the brush, brush her, clean her ears, all of that. So I have been, brushing her fur, but her fur is getting long and I'm not comfortable cutting her hair or fur myself. She does let me trim her nails, which is awesome, but the hair, I'm like, So the vet said, she's good to book a grooming appointment. Just let them know she has one more vaccine to get. And, other than that, like, she has everything she needs to go to the groomer safely. So at my last vet appointment, they did tell me that they asked me about her brushing. And I told them, I'm like, yeah, I brush her. I brush her every day. And it turns out that I was only brushing her top coat. I wasn't brushing her undercoat. And I had no idea. I did not realize. And I feel horrible because my poor little baby has some matted fur underneath, which now that it's been pointed out to me, I now know what it feels like. Because when you look at her, you would never know that there's matting. They did tell me that it was mild, but they said let the groomer know. So anyway, last Friday, Dumpling and I, had an appointment with the groomer, and I had spoken to the groomer on the phone prior to the appointment, It's a groomer that was recommended to me by a good friend. And I told the groomer, you know, she's a puppy. This is going to be her very first time grooming. I let them know that she tends to be a nervous puppy. She doesn't bite or snap. Her go-to is just hide. And she, at home, I had been working on, you know, getting her used to being handled, and I told them about the type of care that I was doing at home, like all the things that, you know, to help prepare her. So they're like, great, we're going to book you in for a puppy cut. We will, you know, introduce grooming to her slowly. It was supposed to be like a whole experience. And I was like, yes, great. This is perfect for my very little fearful puppy. Well, unfortunately, on Friday, we got to the groomers and they looked at her, and the groomer, like, so nice. He flat out told me, he's like, listen, we don't have time today to do her puppy cut because it turns out that the matting is a lot more extensive underneath than what the vet had told me. And essentially, she has been rescheduled. And so she's now going to the groomers this Thursday because it turns out that they can't just trim her hair. They have to do like more of like a, I guess like an actual haircut. And the groomer's like, I want to warn you, but like, I know that her top coat is very well brushed, but the undercoat is not. And we're going to have to sort of shave her down. She is going to be, you know, very, like, her fur is going to be really short. And I told him, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't realize it was this bad. Like, she's shown no signs of distress. Like, she lets me brush her. And he's like, it's okay. This happens. We see this all the time. So anyway, I feel like a terrible dog mom. Because I've been so focused, you know, on trying to make sure that she's, you know, getting exposure to people and helping her through her fear of the outside. And I've been working really hard on, you know, her just learning how to, you know, basic tricks, such as sit, lie down. We've been working like on crate training, how to settle. So like, just, there's a lot. And you know, no matter how much research I did to prepare myself to essentially become a dog parent, it was clearly did not prepare me for the fur. So, like I said, the groomer was really nice about it. Luckily, my friend, who I think she's a dog guru, reassured me. She's like, it's okay, it happens, you know. It's a common thing for first-time dog parents if, you know, this is your first time with a dog. I also didn't grow up with dogs, so, like, a dog as a pet. Like, I had friends who had dogs, but, I mean, it's very different when, you know, you go to someone's house and you're just like, oh, cute puppy, and then you're, like, you know, petting the dog versus actually taking care of a dog. I did have a lot of pet fish, though, growing up. That was the thing. So, anyway, because I wasn't able to, but we had to reschedule her grooming appointment. Near the groomers was an outdoor park. And I thought, you know, since we're here, we can go to this park. Well, let me tell you, on Friday, I pull up to this park. I park the car, I get Dumpling out of the car, and my car, like, I always have, like, things ready to go. Just because when I don't live near my family, so if there's ever a family emergency, then I have stuff in my car so that if I have to grab Dumpling and bring her with me, like, my car's ready to go and there's nothing for me to worry about. So I was ready for this impromptu walk, and I took Dumpling to this park where it's part of it is a trail. Not overly woodsy, like, I am not a woodsy person. It's a maintained, friendly trail, like, beginner situation. So, long story short, we get to this park. All of a sudden, she's no longer afraid. So, near the parking lot, there is, like, a splash pad, and I'm like, no, we're going the opposite way because the splash pad is not dog friendly. So I'm like, well, we'll walk the little trail, like the boardwalk. Tell me how this girl is living her best life. She is like, all of a sudden, we're not afraid. We're like trying to like, she does like this funny little like bunny hop gallop walk situation when she's excited. We're doing that. We're sniffing. We're living our best life. Obviously, like there were like people at the park and on the trail, and when she saw them, she didn't hide behind me, which is a huge win. She just stopped and stared, which again is a huge win. I'm like, where did this confidence come from? I was so proud of her. She had the best time at this, like on this trail, probably because, you know, it wasn't like, it was quiet. But she did phenomenal. And then ever since that day, like she's been rocking her walks. She goes on her 2 walks a day because right now I'm off for the summer. In September, I'll go back to work, but when I go back to work this summer, I've really focused on getting her into very similar routine to what it would be like when I'm at work. So, you know, early morning walks, and then I've been walking her at the same time in the evening, which would be roughly the same time that she would be going on a walk, you know, when I'm at work. I've also obviously been doing a lot of time, each day, having her get used to me not being in the apartment, because when I go back to work, you know, I won't be here. So really been working on her sort of house training, because I don't want to put her in her crate all day. Like I want the crate to be an open door situation where, you know, she can go in there. It's her safe place. If she wants to nap in there, great. So anyway, so yeah, so she's like walking perfectly fine. Yes, there's been a couple times where on the walk she'll stop and she'll like try and hide behind me, but she's not shaking. She is like actually walking. She's starting to sniff more again. So I'm really hoping we keep this up. I'm so proud of her. I don't know what had happened. But yes, so if you have been following along with my dumpling adventures, and if you pray, please keep us in your thoughts that she keeps up this good work, because I was really worried about her. But anyway, so that's what's been going on with Dumpling. So yeah, she's just living her best life. Of course, my life is not just Dumpling. There's a lot of other things going on in my life. And one of the other things that had happened this past week is the girls in my book club, so during COVID, we had all moved to different communities, and we all made it the goal that each month we would get together on a video call and just have our book club that way. So part of that though is now every August we do an annual book crawl so my one friend lives in Toronto, and we go to Toronto for the day and we go to a ton of independent bookstores. So this was our 3rd year doing it. And let me tell you, it was the greatest day of life. It was also the longest day of life. So long story short, I got to Toronto for, I think it was like 10:45 in the morning, and met up with the girls. And I don't go into the city often, so when I go, I always have like my backpack with me, and in my backpack I always have like snacks, water, obviously space for me to put any books that I buy. And then this time around, the weather was calling for rain, so I had actually packed my raincoat and an umbrella, and of course a book. So my one friend who lives in Toronto had mapped out a bunch of book shops to go to. And like Toronto has a ton of independent bookstores, which I'm so jealous, because in my community, we just have Chapters Indigo, which is essentially like, I don't know, a flagship bookstore. I don't know. It's like a very commercialized bookstore. So anyway, let me just say that my day in Toronto was wild. I ended up buying 6 books. I don't know what happened, and I am beyond excited to read all of these books. and I will go through the books in a moment. But part of our day in Toronto, we also ended up going to like a Vietnamese banh restaurant, and we ended up getting some sandwiches. We ended up going and getting some fancy, there's like this like crazy, really cute, like Toronto also has a lot of really cute cafes. I don't even know what the name of the cafe was, but it was like this really cute, like vegan cafe. And I was able to get an iced caramel latte, which those are my favorite. And they had like obviously pastries. So I had to get like a chocolate, what was it? Like a chunky chocolate cookie. Oh, it was so good. But yes, I definitely lived my best life because iced caramel latte, books, chocolate chip cookie, like it was everything. And really good sandwich. But yeah, so part of our day, it did rain really heavy. So unfortunately, well, it's not really an unfortunate situation. Fortunately, the one bookstore we went into was very large, and we were able to wait out the rain in that bookstore. The unfortunate part, though, is that I got hit with a really bad migraine. And if you are new here, earlier this year, I started dealing with really bad headaches that I now know. It seems like I suffer from two types, like a headache that if I take a Tylenol, you know, it sort of goes away. It just feels like pressure in my head. And then I get these other ones that I'm guessing are migraines, where I am so sensitive to light and sound. And unfortunately, there were a couple times during the school year that I had to either leave work early because I just couldn't handle the pain, or I would wake up with it and I just couldn't make it into work. So I've been on the wait list for a headache specialist. I'm also on the wait list to see a retinal specialist because they don't know what is going on. So anyway, I got hit with a headache in Toronto. And I was so upset because we went to this one cafe that we had decided as a group that that would be where we would have our conversations about all the books we bought and what we've been reading. Like that was when we would just have like our actual like book talk. And I was really looking forward to it. And unfortunately, I got there, I could barely focus. Thank God I packed with me like my actual like prescription painkillers for my headache or migraine, I don't know, whatever it is. So that was the only downfall. But, oh, and during all that time, it was also the first time that Dumpling got to stay home all day. And she was amazing. I kept checking my doggy cam. She mostly napped, which was to be expected. And it was so cute. She like kept switching between napping on the couch, and then she'd nap on the floor, and then she'd nap in her crate. That's really all she did. And of course I left out like food and water and stuff for her, so she was great. But yeah, so anyway, Toronto was phenomenal. So we ended up going to an independent romance bookstore, which, if you're new here, hi, I love romance books, particularly dark romance books. And like, because of my one friend, I've really gotten into like contemporary romance. So I ended up picking up essentially 4 books from that store. And then we went to like a fancy sci-fi bookstore and I bought 2 books. Now, before I get into the book situation of what I ended up getting, at the romance bookstore, they had an option called Blind Date with a Book. So the premise was that the books were wrapped and all you had to go off of was the spice level and what some of the common tropes are in this book. So as a group, we all decided to pick out a blind book. And we decided that the blind book that we got would be the book that we would read for September. So in September, we're all reading different books. Honestly, it was the greatest thing of life. I ended up getting a book off of my TBR that I have been looking really forward to reading. But yeah, so let me get into the books. I'm gonna pull up my Goodreads. I love how I'm like, I just want to pull up my Goodreads, but I also want to die and paint. So, books. This is the fun part. So obviously I gotta get my tea, yay, in my like Stitch mug. I don't know, you can see it, but anyway. Okay, so the books I ended up getting was, so the book that I got that was like really, really special, like the blind book one, I don't know if you can see my phone, was Hooked by Emily McIntyre. That's a book that it's like a Peter Pan dark romance. I really wanted to read it. I ended up buying The Village Library Demon Hunting Society by C.M. Wagoner. I'm really excited for that one. A Date with Death by Kelly, I kind of butcher this last name, Craig. I don't know how to say it. This one is so funny. It's literally about the Grim Reaper falling for a human. My friend, when I showed them what I had found, they're like, of course, this is such a you book. This one's so cute. I'm really excited for it. It's called Fall at Once by Nora Everly. It's like a single dad that's a firefighter, and he like small town romance. Anyway, in Stormy Weather, this one I was so like on the hunt for. So in Stormy Weather by Chelsea Curto, it's essentially storm chasers that fall in love. This one called Hopeless Necromantic by Shiloh Breyer. It's a fantasy romance. I'm curious about that one. I saw it at the one bookstore, and then I like passed it up, and then I saw it again at the other bookstore. I'm like, no, it's a sign. And then I did add from a couple of years ago, the first year that we did like our book trip to Toronto. There were 2 books that I had purchased that I still haven't read yet, and so I added those to my list. So I added These Deathless Shores by P.H. Lowe, which is another Peter Pan retelling, and then I have Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb, which is just a straight up fantasy. So I put all these books like on my separate Goodreads shelf. I made a special one just for that because I really want to challenge myself to read those 8 books by next August. And essentially the goal is that if I read those books by next August, then my reward is buying new books in my Toronto adventure. Make it make sense. But yes, so that is the book day. Talking about books though, I'm going to open up my Goodreads again. So talking about my books, I did finally start reading the August book club pick, which is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. It is the cutest book of life. I am obsessed with that book. I'm 34% through it, and I literally just started it this past week. Like, I think I started it, when did I do my Toronto Day? Toronto Day was Wednesday. I'm pretty sure I started it last Tuesday. So it hasn't even been a full week. I'm still reading Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. Definitely a dark romance. It's good. And then Alchemized by Sen Lin Yu. I'm 55% of the way through it. Alchemized is a situation. It is a really good book, but oh my gosh, the magic system and the world building, it's a lot. Like, it is actually really dense, but it's a really good book. Definitely need to take a lot of breaks with that one because trying to keep everything straight with Alchemized is rough. Anyway, so those are the books that I'm currently reading. Honestly though, I've just been like hyper fixated on Haunting Adeline and Remarkably Bright Creatures. But that's that. So that was my big book adventure. In other news, because obviously things have just been crazy, on Saturday, I got together again with the girls from book club, and this time they came to visit me, and I showed them around my city, and we ended up organizing for ourselves a picnic at the local park. And part of our picnic, so they were in charge of like the meals and stuff. like the actual food. So they brought like sandwiches, and then I was like, well, because the park's like within walking distance from my house, like I can bring like the cold stuff. So I had prepared like a fruit salad, I had like some snacks, I had the juice boxes. So we had like a grand old time at the park. We ended up doing like trying to read. We read for like 30 minutes in this park. Obviously we were very distracted because we kept having to point things out. We all were reading different books. It was sort of chaotic, but it was great. And then we ended the day by getting gelato, and honestly, my heart was just so happy. It was just such a good week of just doing all things bookish, like books outside of crafting. Like literally my hobbies are reading, diamond painting, dancing, swimming, and then there's like reality TV and coloring. But anyway, but books are always like, have always been a part of my life, always. But anyway, so yeah, that's sort of what's been going on in my world. Definitely being a little bit of a social butterfly, which is nice. Okay. Dumpling has been like, why are there so many people? Because the girls came to my apartment, they met Dumpling. They've only ever seen her on video, and Dumpling did what she did best. She just sort of, she actually did good. She did not like hide and cower, like try and get away. She actually sort of like kept her distance, but was curious. So I was really happy about that. And then Sunday was like my recovery day. I just like hermited, stayed home. Dumpling and I chilled, watched a lot of Real Housewives. And then today, being Monday, my boyfriend came to visit, and we had an awesome day. So my boyfriend and I are doing long distance. And honestly, it's tough. Like, I'm not gonna lie. We do talk every single day, like on video call, but I mean, nothing beats seeing him in person. So we did a very mundane things, but I think because we're long distance, the mundane things are just really exciting. Like, we did a Walmart run. I needed to go pick up like dog food for Dumpling. So we went to the pet store, and he like, you know, helped me out with getting my dog supplies up into my apartment. We ended up like checking out this cute cafe for lunch. And then after that, him and I, like, our bond is literally through movies. So we have like very similar taste in movies. We ended up seeing The End of Oak Street, the new dinosaur movie with Anne Hathaway and, is it Ian McGregor? I feel like I just butchered his name. But anyway, so we saw that today. It was so good. Like, he loved it, I loved it. And then after that, we came back to the apartment. Obviously we were like in and out today. Poor Dumpling was like, what are you people doing? And then when we got back to the apartment, we just chilled before I had to like, you know, say bye, because he has to work tomorrow. So anyway, so today, like the past little bit, like my heart has just been full. My heart has been full with seeing friends in person, you know, seeing my boyfriend, getting, you know, helping, like seeing Dumpling, you know, thrive on her walks right now. So it's definitely been a really good week. Outside of all of this, I clearly have not been diamond painting a lot, which is pretty clear considering I'm only on the second row and still sort of at the beginning of this row. But on the bright side, I have actually, so my diamond painting just sort of stays stationary in the craft room. I don't bring it out into like the family room, living, kitchen. Well, my family room is sort of my dining area, but anyway, I hope that makes sense. I'm in an apartment building, okay? So my kitchen table, I sort of turned it into a coloring station. So I have been doing a little bit more coloring because the TV is in the family room slash dining area. So if I want to watch TV, I'm either sitting, like actually sitting on the couch watching TV, or I'm coloring. So I've definitely been coloring a lot more, and I, like in Canada, so I kept seeing these Disney mystery coloring books, and I love Disney and I love coloring, but these Disney coloring books were not available in bookstores, and for me to order them, I'd have to order them off of Amazon, and they were like freakishly expensive. So when was it? In July, when it was my birthday month, I had gotten an email from Chapters that I had a 20% off discount code for my birthday, and it was good for any one purchase. And when I was in Chapters perusing the books and coloring, I was thinking I was going to get like a new Joanna Bradsford coloring book. But then I saw that they had the Disney mystery coloring books. And of course, I ended up picking one out. I ended up getting the family one because it had Stitch on the cover, and I love Stitch. Well, long story short, I opened up that coloring book, and I always color with pencil crayons. I was like, no. Pencil crayons are not going to cut it because these pages are ridiculously detailed. So obviously, being me, a crafter, I ended up on Instagram and Reddit and did some investigating on what type of markers people use in these books. Well, acrylic markers are the things to use. And I ended up on Amazon. They came, when was it? Yesterday. But I ordered just a small pack of acrylic markers. I ordered a pack of 72 because I'm like, I don't know, like, how I'm gonna like these. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, long story short, I'm obsessed with acrylic markers. Since I got these markers in yesterday off of Amazon when they were delivered, I have finished one coloring page. I started my second one, and I am loving it. So I did spend quite a bit of time coloring, and then because of that, I ended up taking out, so normally on the couch is where I do my coloring, and I sort of have like my pencil crayons, and I've been working through like one of my, like, I'm either coloring in my Johanna Bradsford or Millie Murado coloring books. Well, those ones are not great for marker because it seeps through the paper, but the Disney book, I've been using acrylic marker and I'm obsessed. But anyway, so obviously I have been coloring a lot more because I spend a lot of time in the family room slash dining room, because for whatever reason, Dumpling always is like, I don't like it when you hang out in the craft room. And I'm like, girl, you need to get used to it. But anyway, she's getting better. She is more comfortable in the apartment. Plus, I keep bribing her, like, when she, like, settles near the craft room, I give her a treat. I think it's also, like, when I brought her home, I really, like, kept her only in, like, the living room, dining room area. Because, you know, she's a puppy, and I read online, like, you know, you should start off with, like, a smaller area and then slowly introduce more space. So that's what I've been doing. But anyway, she's doing good. She's, like, sleeping over there. She's probably like, actually she's dead to the world, which is interesting. But anyway, so yeah, so I've definitely been doing a lot more coloring. Diamond painting wise, I have not made any purchases. The only thing that came in recently was my Creations Marin July mystery box. That was it. Other than that, I haven't made any purchases. I've just been still really focusing in on what I have in my stash. I did take out 2 diamond paintings that I'm thinking I might want to do for Drills and Chills this year, which is Potions Room by the Goo Goo family, and then I think it's like The Witch's Bakery by Miss Holly. But with how this kit is going, I don't know. I think I might just because I know last year for Drills and Chills, I participated, but I didn't like enter in for like any prizes. Like I just sort of participated, like worked alongside people. So I think this year, well, obviously I'll do the same, but I don't know if I'm going to have like the ability to kit up a Halloween kit, because I do not have enough storage containers for that. Especially the fact that I still have kitted up a Christmas kit, Rainy Day, and now this one. I mean, I could kit them up, kit a Halloween kit up, but then it's like, oh, that's a lot of kits that I have on the go. I haven't decided. We will see. It depends. Like right now I'm not feeling burnt out by this kit, but if I start feeling burnt out by it, then maybe I will kit up a Halloween themed kit. I don't know. Haven't figured it out. I still have time. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. In terms of TV shows, I'm still making my way through The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I think I'm on season 13 right now. And then, yeah, that's it. I've literally just been watching that. And of course, same old Bob's Burgers will go on in the background. But yeah, other than that, like, I've just been, like, doing my thing. Just enjoying my summer. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of reading on my balcony in the morning. That's been a thing. But, yeah, that's sort of all I got. I actually did quite a bit. I'm really curious to see how his face is going to turn out. It's looking a little dark. I don't know. We'll see. I didn't expect to like be doing his face by the second row, but it is what it is. But yeah, okay, so I'm gonna actually wrap up this video. I feel like it's pretty long. It's been a lot of rambling and I should go to bed. It is currently almost 10:25 p.m. and I still need to finish my tea. And Dumpling is like passed out on the floor. Anyway. Okay, so this is what I got done. It's looking good. Hopefully I'll finish this giant section. I kind of figured with this kit though, I've been working on bigger sections just because it hasn't been like too crazy. The colors, like the greens, it's always the same greens. The browns, it's the browns. Like, anyway, so I don't know. All right, well, with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up because I've just been rambling. But if you did enjoy today's WIP'n chat, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support does mean the world to me. Of course, if you are looking for more diamond painting content, you can find me on my Instagram at ShineBrightDiamonds2023. So until next time, happy diamond painting. Bye, everyone.